I just finished reading Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And whether you're dating, married, healing, or happily single, this book gave me so many powerful insights about communication, relationships, and understanding ourselves. It almost feels like one of the biggest problems that we have are being misunderstood. I'm a firm believer that books come to you when you need them most. So my mom and I were out shopping, we were out thrifting, and she pulls this book up and she says, "You have to read this. This is a book I know you would love." And I look at the book and it's called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And this is a classic. Like, this is a book that I've heard about so many times. It's been on TV shows. It's been in movies. I mean, look, it was on Clueless. I just watched Clueless the other day, and it said, Brittany Murphy holds up her book and she says, "Men are from Mars and women are from Venus." And that was her book she was gonna read. So it's been popping up a lot lately, and I love that because I feel like it's a message saying maybe this book is worth your attention. And I love reading. I'm an avid reader. I wrote a book. So when I see that a book is coming to me, I'm very open and I'm very receptive to it. So this book came to me for $1.99 and I was like, perfect, I'll read it. I have a whole stack of books that I haven't gotten to yet, but it felt like something was pulling me to read this book. But oddly enough, I had a lot of resistance in the beginning of the book. Something about it made me feel as if it was being catered to the male aspect, and that the book was going to be about how men need so much of women's support because of X, Y, and Z. As I got further along and I passed up that ego, I guess it was my ego thinking that's what it was, I started to learn a little bit more and started to be open to the conversation. And I do feel like a lot of people would benefit from reading this book because it's got a lot of good insights in it. It's powerful. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to or welcome back to another video. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we talk about bettering ourselves from the inside out. So if bettering yourself is something you're into, then hit the subscribe button to never miss a video with me. Today we're speaking about the book called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And once I was finished reading this book, I thought about it from what I've been learning for the last couple months, couple years, right? My own lessons, my own past relationships around me, the idea of neuroscience, the idea of spirituality, the ideas of emotional regulation, and how we know how important it is to regulate your emotions and to find that safety within yourself. So once I was done reading this book and I was kind of putting it into a perspective of all of that, right? Classifying every little piece, kind of categorizing every little piece that I could to blend into this and see how can this fit into my daily life. And what I found was incredible. Relationships aren't just about finding the right person. Relationships are about understanding yourself first and understanding yourself with others. So as always, I've broken this down into sections. So section 1, people give love differently. One of the biggest ideas in the book is that men and women, we love differently. We do things differently. Sometimes we love someone else the way we want to be loved, and not in a way that they want to be loved. And this applies to anyone and everyone, not just in romantic relationships, but in platonic ones as well. And I've taken this learnings and this stuff, these nuggets in the book, and I've implemented them into my relationships, even with females, even with my son, and understanding that we don't always think the same, we don't always feel the same, and taking yourself out of it and finding a new perspective has worked magic in my life and in my relationships. Neuroscience shows us that our brains create patterns, and these patterns are based on our experiences, they're based on our upbringing, and they're based on our emotional conditioning. So you can have two people who care so deeply about each other, love each other, but they misunderstand each other so much. And here's a lesson, and this is one of the things in the book. Get to know your partner. And this is a little side note. But you got to give your relationships time. You got to give these people time to show you who they are. And you have to give yourself time to see if that person who maybe put their best foot forward in the beginning, and maybe you did as well, maybe after a couple months, you're not a good fit. But the whole point of this is to get curious, ask those hard questions. We have to stop assuming. We have to stop assuming that we know what this man's answer is going to be, because we don't. The last person I was with, as much as I thought I knew that person, I found out he actually has a baby mama. So we have to stop assuming that we know this person just based off of how we feel around them, or how we think what they're telling us might not match. One of the big ideas here is to really get to know that person, whoever is on the other side, but also to really get to know yourself. Because if that person's asking you questions, make sure you have answers that are true to you and who you are. You're asking your partner, how do you handle conflict? You need to know how you handle conflict as well, and you need to be honest about it. Lesson 2, stress affects people differently. And I know that this is going to be a pattern, is like male to woman, man to woman. Like, they're going to be obvious. It's obvious we are different and we handle things differently. But this also goes to show that woman to woman, man to man, man to woman, mother to child, whatever the situation is, stress will affect you differently than it affects me. A really big concept in the book is that when men feel stressed, they tend to withdraw. And this is not only for men, because I know there are some women out there who also withdraw. And in the book, they call this going into the cave, the man cave, whatever you want to say. This is what the term is in the book, going into the cave. And what I found about this, and the women's side of it, is that we want to have connection. We want to talk about it. We want to get past it. Again, this is not every single woman, this is not every single man, but for the most part, what I've noticed in my relationships and me being a woman and the women that I know, we really want that support from one another. We want to hash it out. We want to talk it out, right? So a man will tend to withdraw and go into the man cave, go into the cave, because they need to process it. But here's the thing, neuroscience tells us something very important here. When we're stressed, our nervous system shifts into survival mode. Some people will process this internally, some people will process this externally. Neither is wrong, but it's about understanding that. And this goes back to knowing yourself so well, because if you know you're the type of person who wants to communicate and talk about things immediately, then that's something that you're going to have to let that person know. But also, it's about getting to know them and knowing, do they need time to process? I have a conflict with my son. I allow him the time to go in his room, figure it out, and then we come back. As much as I want to just get to it right there and talk about it and figure out why it happened and what we could do to fix it and all the things, I have to take a step back and give him that space, because that's how he processes things. And understanding that, and obviously being his mom, I'm going to give him that time and that space and that ability to figure it out before going in, even though that's really what I want to do. And the key here is to figure that out, figure out that process, because stress affects relationships aggressively. So if you're stressed, if they're stressed, and you don't know how to process it, it puts stress on the relationship because you're not giving that person the space, or maybe they're taking too much space and they're not communicating things with you, and now you feel neglected and you feel like they don't care. There has to be a give and take here, but you have to understand what it is that's being put on the table. Section 3, stop trying to fix everything. This one hit me because we want solutions. I know I want solutions. I want understanding. I want empathy. I want to feel seen, right? And spiritually, presence is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to each other. And sometimes healing doesn't happen because you solve the problem. Sometimes healing happens when you just gave that person space to listen. And this is also something in the book that he says the man typically wants to give you a solution. And as I said before, I'm a very solution oriented person. I want the solution. However, when it comes to a conflict of my own, sometimes I just want to be heard. This also gave me the idea that maybe your partner can't be everything for you, right? Maybe they can't be that person you go to just complain. Maybe they can't be that person that you go to if you don't want a solution. Or maybe you got someone who is willing to put that aside and just listen and hear you out. So you do feel seen and you do feel heard and validated in that moment without needing you to be like, no, you have to do XYZ. So, I mean, there are things here to look for. If your partner is asking you, I need your advice. How do I handle this? Or maybe they can tell you, I just need an ear. I just need you to listen to me. I don't need any advice. Can you listen? Do you have the space to listen to me? And then you have to take that and you have to hold it there and be like, do I have this space? Yeah, I have this space. I'll not give you any type of solution. I'm just going to listen to you. Or maybe you can be like, you know what? I need a moment right now. Let's come back to this. And both of those things are valid. Lesson 4, appreciation changes relationships. This book talks a lot about appreciation. And of course, I think this appeals to every relationship, romantic, friendships, family, yourself. People thrive when they feel valued. Neuroscience shows us that positive interactions will strengthen emotional bonds. And this is going to help create those feelings of safety and connection. We're always focusing on what's missing instead of focusing on what's working. And this is a big deal in relationships because I know I've been in many relationships where my relationships with my family, and there are times where I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel valued. And those times I just feel terrible. So finding that and allowing that space to let that person know I'm not feeling valued, and then to create a space where you can feel valued. What do you need in this moment to feel valued and to feel appreciated? Lesson 5, we teach people how to treat us. One of my biggest takeaways from this book is that boundaries matter. And I wrote an entire book on boundaries basically. So this is something you come to learn as you get older, right? Boundaries are so important, but also communication matters and self-respect matters. And this is what happens when you build that healthy relationship with yourself. That is going to send this beam of light out and show other people that I love myself so much and I treat myself so well, so you are going to then treat me so well. And I will not tolerate anything less than that because I would never even treat myself like that. I would never talk bad about myself. I would never give myself no attention. I would never not buy myself flowers and gifts and, do my workouts and get ready for the day. And I would never not give myself nourishing meals and just neglect myself. I wouldn't do that to myself. So I'm not going to accept that. And people are our mirrors. So they are going to show us where we're lacking, right? So this is a big deal. If you are attracting people who just don't cut it for you, maybe they're not being honest, maybe they're not valuing you, maybe they're not putting you as someone who's important to them, you really need to check in with yourself and make sure you're giving yourself those things. Do you treat yourself with respect? Do you have self-respect? Do you have self-esteem? Do you feel confident? Do you make yourself feel seen? Do you journal out your issues and come to a conclusion so that way you can heal and find new ways to handle things? Do you regulate your emotions? You cannot expect to just kind of manifest or create this new or attract this new relationship with someone who is so great and just treats you so amazing if you're not treating yourself so amazing. People will reveal our wounds. They will reveal our patterns and our fears. But on the flip side, think about it. You've been maybe taking the time to heal yourself and you've been taking the time to feel really good in your skin. Maybe you've been hitting those workout class. Regardless of what is going on, if you're putting into yourself, you're going to attract the good parts too. You're going to find someone who's like, wow, I want to pour into her because she pours into herself. I want to love her because she loves herself. I want to treat her like a queen because that's how she treats herself. That's exactly what I'm getting at here. We teach people how to love us. Now, I know I've been in relationships where I in the past had not loved myself like I do now. I didn't take that time for myself. I put others before me, yada, yada, right? The whole thing. I was not doing things to put myself in a position to attract a really good partner. So what did I do? I attracted people that showed me my wounds, that showed me my fears, that showed me where my boundaries were shit, that showed me where I didn't love myself because I was still allowing these people, these men, to come into my life and basically use me or walk all over me or not, not let me have that trust in them because maybe they were liars. Whatever the situation is, it brought me to understanding where I was lacking and where I needed to take accountability for myself. Lesson 6. Love isn't mind reading. One of the biggest mistakes that we make as people is we think that our partner should read our minds or people who love us should read our minds, but it's not realistic. The truth is, communication is a skill. Your needs and your feelings, they matter, but people can only meet you where they understand that. They don't know what you need in that moment. I've heard many of my girlfriends and even my sisters in their relationships, well, he should know, but what if he doesn't know? What if he doesn't know? You have to communicate that and let him know, and vice versa. She might not know. Tell her the situation. Sometimes I have situations with my sisters and I'm like, well, she should have known that. And maybe they don't know that. You have to communicate kindly, clearly, and directly. Section 7, the most important relationship is with yourself. This may not be the biggest lesson in the book at all, but this is the biggest lesson that I wanted to put in this video because it's the biggest lesson I've learned in my entire life. And this is something that I've kind of been sprinkling in throughout the entire video, is that when you know yourself, you communicate better, you have better boundaries, you choose better relationships, you don't settle, you allow yourself to actually be happy and know what that means to you. And the biggest thing is that you stop looking for someone else to complete you. In my opinion, being in love and finding your soulmate or finding someone who you love and you want to be with for now or for the rest of your life, it's not finding someone who completes you or finding two halves make a whole. No, it's two whole people coming together who know each other and who choose each other. So yes, reading books like this is amazing and I love it, and I will always read and I always want to learn, and I love seeing perspectives from other people. And this was from someone who wrote this like a long time ago. So understanding that that still can apply for today, you can still learn those lessons and you can still take what you want from this book, from any other relationship book, and implement it into your life. But no matter what, the number one lesson in life that I feel is going to be top tier to help creating that most amazing, beautiful, audacious, just sexy, juicy life is making sure your relationship with yourself is top tier, and it's the most important one. And I don't care. I've said this before. It doesn't matter with, you're married or you're single or you're figuring it out or you have kids or whatever the situation is. You need to understand that your relationship with yourself is very, very important. It's the most important. So if I had to summarize Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus in one sentence, it would be this: people are different. And understanding those differences, that's what's going to create that compassion and better communication and just overall stronger relationships. The goal isn't to become this perfect human who knows how to be in a relationship and isn't going to have any type of issue pop up or any type of things that might derail them. That's not the goal. The goal is to be understanding of yourself, build that relationship with yourself, know yourself, know thyself, and understanding and having that understanding of someone else. That is the goal. So let me know if you've read this book, because I want to know what your take is on it and see if there's any other lessons in here that maybe you took from the book. And thank you for watching this. I loved this book and I love reading, and like I said before, this book came to me and I was like, yes, I feel so open and receptive to it. And if you look at books that way, it might make you want to read a little bit more, because books are messages. I've read countless books, and every time I read one, there's something that I've implemented into my life that made me a better me, and I will continue to do that. So just a little food for thought. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to get your copy of my book. It's called Full of Yourself, a guide to becoming your most audacious self. And I will put my Instagram right here on the screen. You can DM me there if you want to talk about this book, or if you wanted to just say hi, or even inquire about hypnotherapy. I'm a hypnotherapist and also a confidence coach, so we can work through many, many things. So thank you again for watching this video, and until next time, love yourself boldly and live audaciously. Bye.